Metanomics is brought to you by Remedy Communications and Dusan Writers Metaverse.
This has been a singular week for social media, with Twitter stealing the headlines for its role in the civil unrest roiling Iran after some controversial election results. So we are going to turn now to Mitch Wagner of Information Week, who is going to help us understand the implications for social media, politics, and journalism as we put the Twitter revolution in the spotlight. Mitch, welcome to Metanomics.
Thank you for having me, Rob. This has been interesting to listen to the technology issues.
Yes, it's every day in a virtual world is a new experience. So, Mitch, just a few weeks ago, I feel like political journalists all over the U.S. certainly were having a field day making fun of Twitter and making fun of all of these celebrities, politicians, news people who were using it. And now Iranian demonstrations are being heralded as a Twitter revolution. What lessons do you draw from this?
Yeah, it's very interesting to watch. I've witnessed the hype and backlash cycle in technology a few times, most recently with Second Life, of course. And it's really going to be interesting to see how the cynics manage to get to the backlash portion on Twitter. Because anytime they start saying it's overhyped, you can say, well, I guess overthrowing one of the most brutal theocracies in the world is not so important. So, I think we can get several lessons from what's going on over there. The lessons are still coming out, and anything we attempt to put down as a conclusion is very tentative. But I think there are a few interesting things going on. First of all, Twitter is very, you could say, is very primitive. We've seen a lot of rich applications, Second Life certainly being one of them, web video, a lot of interesting graphics, and Macromedia Flash, HTML5, and Twitter is very, very primitive compared with all that. It's just text. It's just 140 characters. But its very primitiveness is what gives it so much power. Because it goes through both the web and SMS, for instance, it's been able to slip through the very, very fine holes in the censorship nets that Iran has been attempting to put up. Another lesson that we can get from Twitter, from what's going on in Iran, is that LOL cats are not only entertaining, but they are also a great force for good and fighting against evil. This is something that a researcher named Ethan Zuckerman at Berkman Center in Harvard first put forward. He called it the cute cat theory of internet censorship. People get familiarity with these web tools just by having fun and using it in their day-to-day lives and sharing sports scores and LOL cats and telling jokes and telling each other about breakfast at Twitter, on Twitter. And then when they need the tool for something important like political demonstrations or a national emergency, they are very familiar with those tools and they come easily hand to hand. If you're going to use a tool during a riot when the bullets and tear gas are flying around, you need to be really, really familiar with that tool. You're not going to sit there and try to remember Twitter codes while you're getting shot at.
Yeah, so that actually sounds, we had, I guess it was maybe a year and a half ago or so, we had Ben Konsinski, an IT professor on Metanomics, talking about technological progress, and he emphasized that toys become tools. So you're seeing, it sounds like this lolcats onto demonstration organizing. Sounds exactly like that.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing we see out of Iran is that social media is mobilizing world opinion. I can really see a scenario pre-social media where Iran would have been able to shut down the walls effectively, and really keep this off the front pages and the TV news in the U.S. and around the world. But now we see everything. I think perhaps the biggest example of social media currently is the video of the Iranian woman being shot. Her name, I don't recall her last name, but her first name is Nida, and that's already becoming sort of a code word and a hashtag and she's becoming a symbol in the face of the revolution over there.
Now, at the same time that Twitter has, made it harder for the Iranian government to control the news. I mean, it also just seems part and parcel of this steady devolution in journalism that we've seen. That first it was broadcast TV and newsprint challenged by upstart young bloggers who now seem to be driving news and opinion, and then this week it's anonymous tweeters are our eyes and ears, and the bloggers I think Andrew Sullivan at The Atlantic has dedicated much of his blogging to what he calls live tweeting the revolution. So, I mean, are we really ready to turn our reporting over to anonymous and unverifiable reports of 140 characters or less?
Yeah, there was a saying that Ron Nessen, who I think was press secretary under Jerry Ford or Jimmy Carter, I think it was Jerry Ford, he said, "Nobody believes the official spokesman, but everybody trusts the unidentified source."
Yeah, right.
And the corollary for that in the Twitter age is that nobody believes the New York Times, but everybody believes Girly Boy 853 on Twitter. But I think that's changing. I think we're seeing a sense that it's great to get the things that appear to be first-hand reports on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, but you don't really know where those came from. You don't really know if they were intentionally planted disinformation from one side or another, or just somebody who's just plain wrong. And I think this highlights the role of trusted sources to sift through the information and tell people what's actually going on and what's real, and separate out the truth from the rumors. We have a name for those sort of people. We call them journalists, no matter what medium they're in, whether they're writing on paper or for a website or just bloggers.